Or let's talk about abundance for a second. A lot of people misunderstand the logic or the meaning of what abundance is. Okay, so in other words, it's not like something physical or tangible. It's not a material thing. Yeah, abundance is a meaning. So let me just describe this here. By the way, you can measure this, and you can. In fact, this has been measured. This has been recorded. The flow of atoms through the planet Earth through your body. It looks something like this. Okay. Think of yourself as like an apple core. All right. Let's say here's a core of an apple. You've just eaten the apple, and there's a core left. What happens is there's a flow of energy through you, through me, through the planet, through the universe. It looks something like this. It's constantly going, all right, flowing in circles, okay, right, around and through the core, up through the core and out through the core, okay. It's a source of energy. In fact, it is energy. So what happens is, if you think of abundance, abundance is, everything in our lives is completely abundant. I'm looking outside. You can't see this because it's behind the camera. This great big beautiful vista looking north through some farmland. Trees over here, crops over there. It's just amazing, beautiful scenery. And that's just one view, maybe a total of a couple dozen acres at best, okay? The reality is the world is 26,000 some odd miles in circumference, right? If you add up all the landmass, you're talking several, millions and millions and millions of square miles, okay? So in any case, everything is in abundance. The sky, the air, the trees, the water, birds, fish, animals. I mean, there's a never-ending supply. Everything you need out there in the world is already there. You just have to tap into it. So let me explain how you tap into it. It's the result of giving and receiving, the energy of giving, the energy of receiving. You have to do both. So let's say one side of this is the giving side, and the other side is the receiving side. Well, here's what actually happens internally in terms of abundance. See, as you give, okay, you open yourself up, you expand yourself, okay, to be able to receive over here. All right? So this flow actually interacts with each other. Giving and receiving interact with each other in the world of energy, okay? Again, this isn't like some kind of theory. This is actual science, okay? So what I'm getting at is when you give us something, let's say you're something you want. It's like Zig Ziglar says, whatever it is you want in life, if you just help enough other people get it, you'll be able to receive it. So if you want to invest in real estate, help other people invest in real estate. You'll gain more knowledge, you'll be more intellectually strong, you'll gain more strength financially, you have more money in your pockets, okay? And you can invest yourself. That's what he meant by that. Just one example, okay? Now, where a lot of people get tripped up is this, in the beginning, people who grew up in poor households, they're broke, they live in what's called scarcity. They can't ever allow themselves to give. They close off this flow. Think of this as a source of electricity. Think of this as electrical current flowing through, just like a light switch. You turn it off, you stop the flow. It stops right there. You stop the flow of energy. Same thing with abundance. If you don't give, you stop the flow of abundance. You will not receive. I can promise you that. And many of you watching this know exactly what I'm talking about. You've experienced it personally. Okay. Now, what happens is when you give of yourself, it's not just an equal exchange. You give and you receive in the same in return. It's not true. What you give energetically out into the world is magnified exponentially. Okay. When you allow yourself to receive, you'll receive more and more. The more you receive, the more you give. You free up more space, more energetic space to be able to receive more. So let's jump over here to the receiving side. Here's the next place I see people getting tripped up. They get so caught up in giving. It's like an addiction. It does. I can tell you, when you start giving, it's a wonderful feeling. It's a very fulfilling thing to be able to give. And what happens is you'll say to yourself, well, I don't need to receive anything. I'm doing really well. I'm doing okay. For example, here's where this shows up in the world. Let's say you're doing really well, and you can take your family out to dinner, brother, sister, parents, what have you, and you always treat. You just become the person who treats everybody in the family. They come to expect it and get used to it. And they always, because they get tired of asking you, let me pay part of it, let me pay the tip. And you say, no, no, no. Again, you're cutting off the flow of receiving. You follow what I'm saying here? It's okay to receive. When someone wants to give you a gift, receive it with grace, okay? Give them the opportunity, give them the honor of being able to give to you. Just like you want the honor of being able to give to them. Remember, switch the shoes here, put yourself in their shoes. Don't say no to them when they want to give you something. Say yes. It's the proper thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's the honorable thing to do. And as you receive, it comes back over here, that's the expansion part. And you have more to give again. Okay, you see what I'm saying here? Give and receive. And by the way, whatever it is you want to receive in life, pray for it. Ask for it in prayer because it's already there. You don't have to create it. You don't have to create the trees that go into building a house. You don't have to create the rocks that go into being crushed to make powder to be part of a cement. Okay, you don't have to the sand that's used to make glass. There's billions of cubic yards of sand in the world. I mean, endless supply of sand used to make the glass to go in to make the windows for your home. So you don't have to make that stuff. It's already there. You just have to participate in taking what's there and through the co-creative process, building what it is you want for you or for others. Okay? I hope this makes sense, guys. This is one of the most important things I can teach you. When you grasp this philosophy and you start living it, just come up, do this, give yourself a lesson. So I'm going to come up with 3 examples of giving. I'm going to come up with 3 examples of receiving and see how I can make them tie together. The receiving ties into the giving and back and forth. Okay? Do that for yourself. It's the most wonderful gift. And I'll check back on you on the next video. In the meantime, God bless. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.